Matt. I'm excited to have my very special guest, Richard Meiz of Genus Ordinis Dei and Lacuna Coil. Hi, Richard. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. And you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you for being a guest on my show.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Of course. So I'm going to start the same way I start every interview. I want to learn everything there is to know about you and how you became a musician. So when was it that you first became like a true fan of music?
Well, I was super young actually. I've always listened to music because I come from a family which is super attached to the music stuff. My father was a musician and he always played guitars. He was very into Led Zeppelin stuff and very 70 rocks, hard rock and stuff like that. And so I've been influenced a lot by my father, I would say. So very first time, it might be when I was like 12 or 13 years old, I think. I was in a trip with him, and when he was driving, he put in the car player the album Led Zeppelin 2, and he told me, you have to listen to it because they are great musicians. It's rock and roll. You don't know nothing about rock and roll. You should definitely start with it. And I remember that I was super fascinated about the drums in Led Zeppelin 2, about the drumming of John Bonham, which is now 40 years that he's gone. And at the very first second I heard John Bonham play the drums, I decided I want to be a drummer. So that was my very first memory about music. And it was, yeah, it was that moment that started me as a musician. That, of course, I started listening to other stuff like Slipknot, System of a Down, Limp Bizkit, the old crossover and new metal stuff, and also Dream Theater later on. And yeah, I started playing drums. And that's
So
it.
for you, it was an automatic. It's like you heard John Bonham and you knew that you were meant to be a drummer.
Yeah, I will say it's still my best influence. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And then how long was it between that moment and when you got your first drum kit?
It took me like 2 years, I think, because my first drum kit, I got it I was 14 years old, I think, yeah. And it was like a casual stuff because I talked to my father for 2 years, like, yeah, I want to play drums. And he told me, yeah, you have to study, you have to practice a lot. You're still in a school. I was doing, secondary school or stuff like that. I don't know how you call it in America.
Middle school, yeah.
Middle school and stuff like that. And as soon as I finished the middle school, I think is the middle school, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
14 years old.
Yeah.
He told me, yeah, okay, now you have a summer to practice. So if you want to play, I'll buy you a drum kit, a super cheap one. It was it was a used one, and I started playing like 8 hours a day. And it was the same. It's been the same for 10 years since
Wow.
yeah, for all the yeah, when I was in the, I don't know how you call it, like, it's not the college, it's like the
High school, like after high school, probably.
high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was on the high school, I never did an homework for the high school because as soon as I came back home, I was eating and playing. That's it.
So did that cause any friction in your family because your father was so adamant that you have to practice your instrument, but you're in school also?
Yeah, it was quite hard because school is super important, but at the same time my father was like a big fan of music, and he said, yeah, if you want to play, just go play, just do your homework, and take 6 out of 10 on your grades, and you can play.
As long as you pass. As long as you pass.
As long as you pass, you can play each time you want.
That's awesome. So so you went through school, you were very passionate and you practiced, definitely disciplined and passionate. And then when did you start playing in bands?
Yeah, I started pretty much at the very beginning because I had a close circle of friends here in my hometown. And it was my very, very, very first band. We played new metal stuff like Korn, Rage Against the Machine, Limp Bizkit, and stuff like that. And I was 16 years old, maybe. I could barely play something out from Corn and Papa Roach. I was still practicing. I never studied when I was 16. I was studying by myself. And yeah, I was in a band at 16 years old. It lasted until I was 20, actually.
Oh wow.
It was
Oh,
pretty.
do you still talk to any of those people?
Yeah. Actually, yeah. It is. Uh, it happened something because actually when I was 20, my guitar player died.
Oh, I'm so
That time,
sorry.
he died in an accident, and so the band split because everyone was having like a different life at that time. We were still playing together, we were still having fun, but we were not the kind of band who wanted to be professional. We were just having fun, okay? And so it was like a dark period for me because for like 1 year I was suffering a lot playing because I was always thinking about him. But actually, I'm still in contact with them. And like in the last days, we were talking about the good memories and
Hmm.
so on. And we organized something like a rehearsal together just to have fun, you
That's
know.
fun. So do they all still play, but do any of them play professionally like you do?
No, nobody's still playing. We're just friends, and
Oh,
sometimes like once a year we just play together for maybe a show a year,
oh, that's
just
really
for
cool
close
though.
friends and stuff like that. Yeah.
I love that you do that. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's super fun. Reminds me that I'm getting old. You
No,
know.
stop. I think everybody feels that way regardless of how old they are. So how many years was it between that band when you were 20 ending and Genus Ordinis Dei?
It was like 3 years because when I was 20, I finished the high school. Yeah, I was 18 actually, but I started to do a music academy here in Milan. And as soon as I graduated in the musical academy, I found the guys from Genus Ordinis Dei. I found Nick, Tommy, and Steven. Yeah, they were already playing together. They were like a cover band or stuff like that. And they had this project, their album, their very first album. And they told me, yeah, if you want to join the band, we need a drummer. And I listened to some pre-production of the album. It was great. And so I joined the band, and now it's like 8 years that we are together since. Yeah, it was 2011, I think. Yeah.
That's awesome. And you have something huge going on right now. I only discovered you recently, but you have the coolest project going on right now, which is an album and like a metal rock opera series. Did I explain it correctly?
Yeah. It's something like this. Yeah,
So
it's like a metal music series.
yeah, you call it a metal music series, but to me it's even more than that. Like it's pretty amazing. So tell me about how you even came up with that idea.
Yeah, actually, it was an idea that Tommy, my guitar player, had in his mind for like 3 years maybe. But because as soon as we finished to record the latest album, Great Olden Dynasty, he was already talking about Glare of Deliverance. He was elaborating everything. And later on, we came up with it. We came out, hey, why don't we shoot a video for every song? You know, it always starts like this. And and later on, we found out that we have 10 episodes, a concept album. Why don't we make a music series? And it was pretty natural, actually.
That's amazing. How are you able to, I mean, I think when you're talking about ideas, you always have these big pie in the sky, amazing ideas. But usually I find for a lot of artists, in reality, you can only do like, oh, okay, I guess we can only make like 3 videos or this. How was it that you managed to make 10?
It was fucking hard. Because yeah, actually actually the fact that every band that makes 3 videos is because of the label asked for 3 videos, and videos are always super expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a big cost for growing bands, you know. And you already have the studio to pay, you have the merchandise to pay, you have everything to pay, and videos every time is like a big cut of your income, you know. So we talked with the label. We told them, yeah, we don't really want to release an album. We'd like to do something like this. And then Kris from Eclipse Records told us, yeah, we need an album because it is worthy to have an album. But yeah, you can do that if you want. And I'll help you with publishing, which for me, he said, it's like 10 times the normal job I have to do for a band because you have 10 videos, and not just one or two or three. So, but he was okay with it. He loved the project, and so he said yes. And then we realized how much it cost. And so we said, yeah, we have a lot of work to do, a lot of expenses to do, but it is a huge one. So we can ask our fan to join this campaign, and they will be happy. And that's what happened, actually. Yeah.
So you guys did the crowdsourced funding like a couple months back, did it end?
Yeah. Actually, the fun fact is that we talked about the crowdfunding in November of the last year, November, December, before the coronavirus shit happened. And we were about to do that in January or February. But we decided to postpone it for a couple months because the situation here in Italy was super critical. And we said, yeah, we have any way to hold on because we cannot go out from home. We are stuck in the quarantine, so everything is stopped. And we started it in, it was May, I think. Yeah, we postponed it for a couple months. And yeah, actually in 2 months we raised more than what we asked. So it was good.
I saw that. Yeah, you asked.
Yeah, we are already broke.
Anyway, but you got well over that, which I thought was amazing. And actually, I was bummed because I was like, I was pretty sure it was over, but I was like, let me check, let me see. I want to be a part of this, and I was already done. So, so it was, 10,000. It's a lot of money, but clearly the fans made it happen and then some. But 10,000 still isn't that much money considering the project that you had ahead of you. So what is it that the crowd, it seemed like you used that money for particular things that were special?
Yeah, sure. We use that for videos and for for the masks, and everything about the scenography and everything concerning the videos, because we didn't have the expenses of the studio because we recorded at the studio of our guitar player. So everything was like home produced, but it's our guitar player, the producer, so he knows perfectly where to go with our band. So yeah, and the result is actually amazing. The result, I'm very happy about it. And yeah, we use that because, calling a video maker, calling something for the dresses, calling someone for the masks, for the makeup, for, locations, everything it was super hard, and actually 10,000 wasn't enough.
Yeah, it seemed like it was probably just a drop, a very significant and heartfelt, but a little bit drop in the bucket compared to the cost.
Yeah, I mean, we said 10,000, and so we don't have to spend that much money for do that. 10,000 will be a good help for us, and so that was what we asked.
Well, I think the buy-in also from the fans of feeling like they're part of something really special is probably even bigger and more significant to the people meeting.
Yeah, sure, because they were all super happy about being in the booklet of the album. On the when we say thanks to those people, we usually say thanks to our friends, our family, and stuff like that. Now they all have their names in the booklet. Everyone is like 200 names and stuff like that in the booklet, like 2 pages full of names.
Well, that's really sacred. I mean, I don't know. I know that younger people maybe don't experience this the way like somebody my age would, but the very first thing I ever did when I bought an album was read the credits, even though I knew I wasn't ever going to be in them, but as long as they thank the fans, I was there, and that was so special. So there's however many people are going to have that moment where it's heightened.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually super happy when I was on the booklet of Delirium from Lacuna Coil. I wasn't in the band. I was just a friend of the guys from Lacuna Coil, and I am super close with Maki, the bass player, especially because he was the producer of Genus Ordinis Dei back in 2015, I think. And I was in the tanks of the album. I was super happy because it was like super fun stuff, you know. And but especially, let me tell you that the most happy fans were the ones who bought the spot in the videos, because we have fans in the videos, all with the makeup and stuff like that, and everything is in its context. But yeah, they were super happy about it. And the problem is that now albums are not selling, and so nobody is looking at the booklet. They all buy digital stuff. They all about Spotify and stuff like that. Streaming is a big issue now, and so nobody cares about the booklet. I care because I'm a metalhead. I grew up with it, and just touching the album, touching the booklet, read everything, look at the artwork and stuff. It's something very special to me.
Yeah. I actually still will buy for certain bands, maybe more for my metal bands. Like if I buy a pop song, I'll just buy the song, whatever, done. But with metal bands, especially my favorites, I try wherever possible to also buy the CD so that I can have that experience. And also, I find that things go missing. I'll buy things on iTunes and then I'll look for it on my phone, and it's almost like I never bought it. And I have to go into like my account on my computer. Like to me, that's not even convenient.
You miss a lot about the album if you don't buy the album, because just the feeling of having the album in your hands is like a big experience. I mean, it is actually what started me as a musician, because as I was telling you, I was listening to Zeppelin 2, and later on, I mean, like 2 weeks later, I was buying, I think it was Chocolate Starfish from Limp Bizkit. Maybe it was the very first album I bought. Yeah, probably. And just having this it's fucking CD. It's not special if you think about it, but it's an album. You can open it, you read it. It's something like a collector stuff. And to me, it's something very important. I felt part of the album because I had it. You know, I was opening it, I was putting in the CD player and playing it super loud like this, and you can experience the music in a very different way if you listen from an album and not from the streaming. Also because everything is compressed on Spotify, everything is compressed on if you listen to it in digital stuff. I mean, I am a big fan of the band Tool. You know them. They just released an album, and the fact that they are not on Spotify and stuff like that is because of the quality of the music. It's not the same. If you want to listen to a certain kind of mix, a certain kind of production, you have to listen to it properly. Even if it's in your car, but from a CD, it's very different than from digital. You can see the space of the music, you know. It's something strange.
You know, I don't know, you're a little bit younger than me, but I imagine because of your dad and because you're such a musician and a true lover of music, I don't know if you ever had the experience of buying like a record. And most of my collection honestly was cassettes, and then I rebought everything on CD, and you know, like we all do, and then I rebuy it on digital, and then it goes missing and I rebuy it again. I bought every song 5 times, I swear. But I did own some albums, and mostly because I already had the cassette and I just loved the band. But back then, you know, you had the experience of taking in the album cover work, which is not even hardly a thing anymore. I think bands still put their hearts into their covers, but I think a lot of fans are seeing it this big, and I don't think they even care. A lot of the younger folks don't even know that that's a significant part of it.
No, and they don't even look for it on Google and stuff like that. So you miss every details. I mean, when you're talking about albums and stuff, I think that you're referring to vinyls and stuff.
Vinyl, yes, vinyl.
Okay, yeah, I have a lot of vinyls because, say, my father, big fan of music, old school man, and he's full of vinyl. And yeah, I put a lot of attention in the artwork because there's a lot of details that can't be missed. I mean, there's a fun fact about the Dream Theater album, which is called Octavarium. It's one of my favorite out from Dream Theater. I'm not a fan anymore of them. I mean, I loved them until 2010 because of Mike Portnoy, the ex-drummer, which is my second biggest influence. And later on, they are just like, but I still buy their album because I love. Okay.
Same.
And in their artwork, they put a lot of hidden messages. Like in Octararium, you have those like five balls of the pendulum. No, they are actually 8 balls of the pendulum with 5 birds in a specific spot, which is like a keyboard with the notes and the C sharp and stuff like that. And it's something that for a fan, maybe you don't notice it. But when you notice it, it's like, wow, fuck, that is amazing.
I have to call and tell all my friends, go look at your album.
Sure, because I mean, I'm 30 years old. Okay, I'm not that old, but I'm in the generation that we were not used to have internet at all. We have super slow internet. We were not every day on our computer or on internet. And so the most important thing that connected us was calling and hanging out and stuff like that. And if you notice something, you tell to your friends, they all notice, and we started to talk about it. And I think that's also why a lot of bands became big back in the 80s or 90s. And nowadays, maybe you have a big band which drop a great single, but not a great album. Everybody listen to the single, and they don't get like super hardcore with the band because they have good singles, and that's it. You already have it, and 3 days later, there's another band dropping another single.
Yes. There's no relation. The relationship is very different now. Yeah. I still think it exists within metal because I think metalheads have a particular kind of personality, but in general, I agree with you. It's very different. I mean, even having a conversation about anything, like I remember you used to be able to ask your friend like, oh, I need to go somewhere. Do you know the directions? And they would tell you. And now if you ask anybody anything, Google it. And I'm like, well, I knew I could do that. I was asking you because I wanted like your opinion or, to talk to you or something, but it's just the world has changed so much.
Yeah, I know. It is, yeah, I still love to connect with people.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's super strange seeing someone who's maybe he's at the concert and he sees me like right after a show. I'm outside of the tour bus having a beer with some other guys from the band, some friends, some people who came to the show, and maybe one person is right there, and he's texting me like, "Hey, can I just come on?" I'm like 5 meters from you, so just come.
I went to an Incubus show once, and it was the funniest thing. Brandon Boyd, the singer, left the club, crossed through the line of people waiting to see Incubus, and went onto his bus. Nobody noticed except for me because, and I was just like, he just walked by you. Like he literally just walked through us.
That kind of stuff happens, especially in rock and roll. If you talk about pop stars and stuff like that, it's more, I think it's not in a bad way, but it's just more exclusive stuff,
Yeah.
But rock and roll, metal music, it's all about the community.
It's always been that way. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And so it is pretty normal to see the musician right after the show come hanging out with some people, and it's fun. It's super fun. But a lot of them are stuck in their fucking phone, taking picture, and maybe some of them just came for a fucking picture and don't have the and don't even try to talk to you. Hey, great show, thank you so much, I love that song.
Right.
No, it's not happening anymore. Everyone is taking picture. Everyone is, as soon as you're taking picture with a fan, he's already posting it.
Yes. Yeah. It's become more about marking the moment rather than celebrating it. And it's funny, to your point, I met so many of my favorite musicians that way. It's like, okay, let's just hang out outside the bus. And if they want to say hi, they will. And if they don't, they won't. And that's fine. We'll just hang out for a little while. And then you hang out with each other too. You hang out with other fans and you see the same people over and over again. It was so special. And I don't think that's necessarily gone away, but I do think you're right. People are more about this than they are about this. Oh, sorry. I think the thing that I really love about metal though, in general, is that that still exists, whether some of the people are spending too much time doing this or not. The fact is you guys are still very open to having a community, because I think the difference between metal and, you know, heavy rock through the heaviest stuff is that you guys had to really sell it one album at a time when you start your career. I think a lot of pop stars, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to anybody, but you get the sense that their career really started with a conversation with an important person who can make them a star, rather than playing a lot of clubs with 3 people in the audience, 300 people in the audience, and building that relationship.
Yeah, I mean, it is true in some point. Yeah, I mean, the career is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
The environment is completely different. You'll never see a pop show in a club,
Right?
basically, and so that's why rock and metal music, which always starts in small clubs, makes the metal musician or rock musician more attached to their crowd, because you have a real connection with them. You can smell their sweat in the first row.
And feel it sometimes.
I swear I can. and that's why we have such a strong community. I mean, but actually there's also a bad side about it, because you can have like tons of fans if you are a pop musician, but as long as you do a wrong single or a wrong song, your fans will not follow you anymore right in one day. If you do something wrong, if you drop a bad song, stuff like that, everyone is talking shit about you. It's not happening in metal music. I mean, we are very selective as metalheads and fan of metal music, but I think that we are a little more we go a little deeper than pop fans. You know, we try to know why a certain musician is doing that kind of music and stuff like that. And even if an album, even if you don't really like an album, which I don't for Dream Theater and Last Records, you know, it's not my kind of music anymore. But I always listen to them and I try to know why they are playing this kind of music. They have a new drummer, they have a new lineup, they are playing in this way. They are playing beautiful. They are the most amazing musician in the world to me. I simply don't like the way, because I don't really like their new drummer. He's amazing. I think he's better than Pornoy technically playing, okay? But it's not my style. But I love anyway their vibes. It's just that I moved with that kind of music. I'm more attached to some other stuff. Like right now I'm more into Periphery, for example. But I'm more into Veil of Maya and that kind of music, more heavy and stuff like that. Maybe because it's just about me. But anyway, a true metal fan is not the one that says, yeah, you are not that guy anymore who played that album in 1993. You know, there are that kind of metalheads, okay? Because it's true. There are a lot of hardcore fan who say, yeah, you are not metal because you're not Iron Maiden or Manowar. Okay.
Right.
But anyway, we are more selective, yeah, in a certain way. We are more analytic, I would say, about music.
I think so, but I think the loyalty is always there. Like you said, like I'm still gonna buy the albums, and there are plenty of albums that I own that, frankly, like I listened to it once or twice, and I was like, not for me, but I still wanted to support the band, so I still bought it. I wanted to hear it. But you know what's funny about that is sometimes you talk to one of your, you know, like another metalhead, and they'll be like, oh, I love that album. And you're like, really? Like that did nothing for me. And then sometimes years later, I do go back and revisit some of those ones that didn't necessarily sit right with me the first time and listen to them again. And sometimes you're like, okay, I get it. I'm in a different place and they were in a different place than when I first became a fan.
And sometimes doing that makes you see the path of the artist. And that's important, because if you think about pop stars and stuff like that, you don't really see their path, their artistic way. You judge them single by single. Okay, if you listen to Korn, what was the band Korn in the album Follow the Leaders or Issues from Korn, and you listen to Korn in the last album, The Nothing, which I love it.
Mhm.
You can clearly see their path, how they grew up, how they started to compose in different way, and if you like them, you fell in love with this kind of of growing process. Okay, which is something that in pop music is missed. I mean, I also listen to pop music sometimes,
Totally.
but anyway, it's just a difference of fan base and crowd and passion, probably.
I think so. I think so as well. So one thing though, that I really love about what you're doing with Genus Ordinis Dei is that even though we talked about how we're missing that connection to like the vinyl, the big art on vinyl, or even when CDs first came out, they used to do those paper long boxes. So you still, even though it was technically the same size as the art on the CD, you still felt like it was maybe a little bit bigger and you could connect with it. And then obviously, now it's virtually non-existent unless you're a fan and you seek it out. But I think what you're doing with this music series is amazing because you're giving us something that we haven't gotten before, that gives us a way to connect to the music, that gives us something extra. And then for the people who are able to participate in the crowdfunding, they have that connection to those like those people are gonna get that book for sure. Those people are going to buy that book and they're going to frame it, and it's going to stay with them forever. But I really love this. And the one question I have for you is, so I know the album is available for pre-order
Yep.
right now, and I pre-ordered mine and I got the first few tracks, which I love. I'm completely obsessed with the first one. Like, it's just like my new thing right now. And I love the second track. And so I also saw the first two videos for those. And so my question is, now, do I have to wait till December 4th to get 3, 4, 5, or are those going to like roll out little by little? Like, what's the process? Like, when do I get number 3?
Do you know how TV series works?
So I know in television, usually you get one a week.
Yeah, okay. So you will get not one a week, but
Okay. So do I have to wait till December
step by
4th?
step.
Oh, but it's already started, right? So the experience.
Yeah, sure. It's already planned, everything.
Okay.
But actually, the full length album will drop on December 4th.
Yes. Okay.
So you can listen to every song on December 4th.
Right.
Anyway.
Okay.
But to see all the videos and everything.
It will come. Okay, so we have things to look forward to. And then I had also read that the videos are the slightly shortened versions of the songs. So is there going to be an album for the shortened versions, or do we experience the shortened versions in the video series and then we have the full lengths in the album?
You will have the full length in the album, yeah.
Okay, it's very exciting, very exciting. All right, so we also have another band to talk about, Lacuna Coil, and you guys did something really amazing as well. You did your live streaming show recently, and I loved that you guys built up the excitement for the show because it gave us all something to look forward to. Because I think, without COVID, most of us would prefer to come see you guys play, and I had tickets for May in Boston. And obviously, like, I knew it was gonna get canceled, but like, you still hope. And then I got canceled, and then you're heartbroken. And so normally, would we do live streaming? Maybe not, but because of what was going on, I think we were so excited because it wasn't just a DVD, and a DVD is always special to a fan, but it wasn't a DVD of somebody else seeing your concert. It was like our show that you did for us, those of us who were there. So I wanted to hear about your experience leading up to the show. And then I definitely want to hear about how it felt like to play the show and afterwards, because Christina put up a video on Twitch and she just went through a whole range of emotions, and she was very honest about how she felt. And I was wondering if your emotions were similar to hers or if you felt differently about it.
I mean, it was unique, awkward, strange, and emotional at the same time, because I'm not used to do that kind of concert with I mean, I was used to do concert with no one on the crowd when I was 16 years old. Okay, like everyone does. But it was strange because I was thinking about when I was playing. I was thinking that it was in a real show with 2,000 people in front of me. Okay, in a club show. But at the same time, as soon as a song finished, I were not seeing clapping, screaming, stuff like that, which was quite weird. And every time I was like, oh, did we fucked up something and stuff like that. But at the same time, I was knowing that a lot of people were attending the show from home. I was thinking about the situation, and I was thinking about, yeah, everyone is in a bad situation right now. Okay, everyone is stuck at home, and going out for a concert is super risky, and we don't want fans to be in trouble just to be in a show. So we are in their house now. Okay, so maybe the fan that you are arriving to, you're arriving also to his family, because the family maybe is watching the show together. And so I started thinking about it. I was super excited, and I tried to do my best. Okay, like everyone on stage. It was strange. It was super strange. Trust me, it was super strange, because in front of us there were only the production people, basically, and girlfriends probably.
Right.
you know okay, and they couldn't clap at the show because everything was recorded. So at the end of the show, maybe they were like this, but super silent. And yeah, at the end of it, I was happy about it. I was super happy about it. But it was strange because we did a lot of preparation, like the preparation we always do for a tour.
Mhm.
We did like 2 weeks rehearsing every day, practicing all the songs, practicing all the production details and stuff like that. And so we put a lot of energy on it, and we were super happy that it went well, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys sounded amazing. You looked amazing. I felt like I got 200% from every single one of you, but it was so interesting. And I really appreciate you all for being so honest. And Christina just totally was just like, but it was so surprising to me because I guess maybe because we experienced it in such a positive way that we figured you guys, and clearly it was a positive experience, but that it was just pure like, oh, we did a good job, pat on the back, move on. And so it was so interesting to hear her specifically, just kind of go through, and then like it was so much, and then it was so odd because you guys weren't there. And I would think, even though you were playing to a live audience, that having made music videos and things of that nature would make you comfortable with that. And yet it just seemed that you guys knew you were playing to an audience, so it wasn't the same as making a music video, and it wasn't the same as any of those other things that you've done in the past, like maybe doing something on TV or something where the audience is at home and you're here, because you had this expectation of that connection, and you didn't have that immediate connection with us.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have the direct feedback that you have at the concert. But we knew how many people were attending the show. We knew that a lot of people were super happy about it. And so to us, to me, I talk about me, to me it was like we had all that people in the crowd, okay? And so I tried to imagine all those people in the crowd when I was playing. And when I was like doing funny faces to the camera, I was thinking about that guy that I met months ago. That he was in the first row, looking at me when I was playing. He was probably a drummer because he was drumming along with me. And I was thinking about it, maybe, and I was like, "Yeah, buddy, yeah, come on," you know.
Did you, once we started all posting, I mean, I think we all started posting while the show was going on. I did a little bit, and I think you even saw my bit. I did stop after a while because I felt like if I spend too much time doing this to post it, I'm going to miss the show, to what we were talking about earlier. And I was like, I want to experience this, but I wanted to also share because I wanted you guys to know that this was special.
Yep.
And that it did mean something. And for the fans who missed it to be able to see, little bits of it. But once you started seeing our videos and our pictures and our comments, did you kind of understand that it really went across so well?
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, as soon as I finished the show, I received like 3,000 messages, stuff like that. and it took me 2 days to answer everyone, which
And
I
I
wanted to do that. I
so
wanted to do that.
appreciate that you did that because I was one of those people.
I,
So
I, really, I really wanted to do that because, you know, when you finish a show, a lot of people maybe came out and talked to you, not the guys who just post a picture with you, okay? The guys that we were talking about earlier. But a lot of people maybe come and ask something to you. And I always love to answer. And yeah, it took me 2 days. Yeah. And so I felt the love of everyone, like in the next day, not suddenly after the show on the clapping, but in the following days, everyone texting me saying it was great, it was super emotional, I cried on that song, or you had a super great snare sound. It was great. It was great. Yeah.
you know, I think there were special things that happened that are worth mentioning. For example, I know one of the people who was watching had her like little girl
Yeah.
watching the concert with, and she was dancing and she was really into it. And you know, maybe that mother wouldn't feel comfortable taking her daughter to like a metal concert late at night, but now the daughter get to experience you guys, and you guys like got a fan who's like 2.5 years old. You know what I mean?
Sure. And that's super fun. I mean, we it happens for us to see a lot of young people at on the crowd. Maybe you know, family comes to a show. Maybe they don't stay in the first row. They go just a little bit back to be safer. You know, and it's super fun when a little fan comes to you and say, "Hey, you're my favorite drummer." Thank
Aw.
you. It's super cute. Yeah.
That was super cool. Yeah, I think it was just, it was so interesting to see you guys' feedback. And it was a, kind of another part of the experience that I think we all shared, you know, just to hear how you guys felt. Because I think I assumed that you guys would be like, oh, that was easy. You know, we play live all the time and we just didn't get to see you. The one awkward thing that I would love to see, I mean, I really hope we get to resume normal life because I miss shows so bad. And I'm sure you miss playing and even going to shows as a fan. But the one thing that was so awkward is there was an applause button. And so I hit it, and it's like and I think somebody in the band said it was like the oddest, weirdest thing. And then I felt like, oh my God, I hope they didn't hear that because that would have ruined like everything. It was just awful. And so I was just like, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. But I wish there was a way for you guys to almost hear all the people at home, because there was cheering at home, I'm sure. Like I saw some of it, I did some of it, and I know of this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we were not hearing actually claps
Yeah.
and stuff like that. We have seen them right after the show,
Yeah.
but you know, it was like a TV production and stuff like that. So everything had to be super
Right.
precise. Okay.
Yeah, you couldn't have that on, but it would have been so disruptive.
Yeah.
It was very like mechanical and odd, and I don't know. I appreciate them for having it, but it wasn't adding to my experience at home, and then it wasn't something that you could have
No,
at
I,
your end
I
either.
that not that many people use it. They all tried.
Yeah, I think we all tried once and then went
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, everyone was enjoying the show, and
Yeah, it was
you know.
it was really good. So what are you guys doing with Lacuna Coil right now? Are you guys writing, or are you just doing a lot of interviews and just connecting with fans?
Well, I know. I mean, everyone is doing different things. I mean, we are just taking this like a big vacation and stuff like that. Okay, and I am personally cooking a lot, playing a lot in my home, and I also write songs for me and for you know. I always try to write song, and I love to compose and stuff like that. So I'm doing this at home.
Has this been a good time for you to get a lot of writing done?
Yeah, I mean, I'm writing like a lot.
Yeah.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And then you're cooking. So I haven't seen a lot of food photos as of late, but you used to have more, probably when you were traveling and like going to restaurants and that.
Yeah.
But I saw I saw on Twitch, Christina mentioned you, and she said, "Oh, I'm so glad he's not here," because, and I think you and Maki aren't here because they would probably die because there was a lady who took spaghetti and wrapped loose ground meat on it and then like baked it, and it was like Italian food. Yeah, you have to watch it. I could tell by the look on your face.
That? Why do you
Oh,
have
it
a lot
was
of
hilarious though. It was hilarious. You have to see this. So it's good that you didn't see it live because you might have passed out and then not been available for this interview. Um,
no, I mean, I'm very attached to food. I'm Italian, so everyone in Italy eats well. Okay, because it's not because I'm Italian, but we really have, I think, the best food in the world because we have such a variety of food. You know, in if you walk 10 minutes away from your home, you will see a grandma making tortellini different than you. Okay, and they are super great. They are super special in their own way. Okay, so when I see those people treating carbonara or bolognese like shit,
I
I
think it was supposed to be bolognese. I think.
yeah, because if you wrap spaghetti with meat, I mean, you are probably trying to make bolognese. Okay, we don't call it bolognese.
What
Okay,
do you guys call it?
we call it ragu,
Oh, okay.
which is from Bologna, which is the city.
Oh, okay.
Mentioned in bolognese, but it's not bolognese sauce. It's like pasta alfredo you have in the US.
We do, yeah.
We don't have pasta alfredo. It's a lie.
So the one thing I noticed, because this happens to a lot of people's cuisine. So like I'm Pakistani American and I see people make curry and it like hurts my soul. And then they like want to give me their recipe and I'm like, please don't give me your recipe. I don't want your recipe. Trust me, I don't need it. So I totally understand when you guys see people around the world, but probably Americans more so,
Yeah,
cooking
I mean,
Italian food.
because I think that to you will happen like a lot of time that people come to you and say, do you like curry chicken? You don't have curry
No, we
in the
never use that
masala.
word in my house. I
No,
hate that word actually.
that's masala. That's a different.
Yes, thank you.
I
Thank
know.
you.
That's because I respect food and I look for it when I'm trying to do a recipe. I mean, I knew curry food, curry chicken, curry beef, and curry stuff. Okay, and when I did some research to cook it, uh, I learned that there is not this word in India, in Pakistan.
There's not, no, but I get it because we, like the people who start the restaurants all over the world will use this word that somebody, I'm sure somebody else invented, maybe somebody in England. And so it's hard because you don't want to, it's almost like, you know, Chinese food in America is a very particular kind of food, which I love. Oh, I think it's like the most delicious and it's totally not authentic at all. However, like Italian food or like much Italian food at restaurants, it is made by Chinese immigrants. So there is some sort of ownership. And so my question for you is, I can totally see, because whenever I try to find authentic Italian recipes, they're very different than the food I eat a lot of like Italian food, like a lot. I'm from Boston. It's, you know, there's a lot of Italian Americans, very proud Italian Americans in my corner of the universe. But I am aware that I think what I'm eating is Italian American and not Italian, right? So my question to you is, when you probably don't try to eat Italian food when you come here because that's kind of pointless. You can eat authentic food when you're at home. But if you've ever come across it in catering, which I imagine happens a lot because pasta is so big, what's your reaction? Is it sort of like, oh God, no, what are you doing? Or is it like, okay, they're Italian Americans, they've been there a long time, they did a thing with what they had? Like, what's your reaction? Because I'm always curious about this.
No, I mean we say very explicit in our technical writer that we don't want Italian food.
Fair enough.
Unless the chef is Italian.
Yeah.
But it's not because we are racist or stuff like that. It's because, yeah, you know, especially in Europe, actually, in Germany, Belgium, and Holland, and Netherlands, stuff like that, they always try. They always try to make lasagna. They always try to make bolognese. They always try to make carbonara. But just no, come on. You have, I mean, we are in Germany. You have a lot of food from Germany.
Right.
You also have some other stuff in Germany that they are pretty good. You have something like that came from Austria something that came from more Eastern Europe, like goulash and stuff like that, we can eat them. We love that. Okay, don't make carbonara because you can't. And same in Belgium, they have like great stews. They had molds. They have a lot of stuff, and they always try to make carbonara, and they make it with garlic or they make it with bacon. And it's not bacon in carbonara; it's guanciale. It's another part of the pork, and which is important because it's more fat and it becomes more crispy and it's more spicy at the same time, and it balances with the eggs and the cheese and stuff like that. So it's all about culture. We used to spend like 100 years making carbonara perfect in Italy, and so you cannot make it in 1 year experience. You can make it if you felt the real carbonara a lot of time. You have to cook like 1,000 carbonara before making it real.
Right.
Okay?
How do you
and
feel?
It's super easy. It's 3 ingredients. No,
So
no,
if it's 3 ingredients, then peas are not one of the ingredients, correct?
no, fuck no.
Okay, and I've probably never had real carbonara in my life, but I've had carbonara I really enjoyed. But the peas always kills me because I'm like, why the peas? That doesn't even go.
There's no point in peas.
No.
What do the peas add in the carbonara?
Color. That's the only thing.
Color.
Color.
You need color carbonara. If you make a proper carbonara, you only use eggs, guanciale, and cheese, and yeah, black pepper.
You get the color actually from the yolks, probably.
Yeah, I'll tell you the real carbonara recipe. It's super easy. You need to cook the guanciale until it's crunchy. You have to dry it, take it apart, leave the fat in the pot because you will need it for later. Then you mix the eggs. Usually it's 1 full egg and 1 yolk every person, usually. Okay. Then you add pecorino romano, which is super salty. You don't even add salt to the sauce. Okay. No garlic, no onions, no shit, no parsley. I've seen a lot of things put in carbonara. Never the peas, but I mean, some people would probably add fish.
Well, if you had Italian food on your rider, you would see a lot of peas, I think.
I know, like a lot. And then when you make this wonderful sauce, which is super, it is great. It's salty, it's sweet at the same time, and it's great. It's ready to go. Okay, it's super creamy. Then you cook the pasta, you boil the water, then you throw the pasta in, then you take it out, and you finish it in the fat of the guanciale, that you left it, and the guanciale, which is dried now, it's more crispier. Okay, so you take it, you put it on the pasta, then you turn off the fire because you don't want the egg to be overcooked, to be scrambled and stuff like that. It has to become to stay like a cream, and the heat from the pasta will hit the egg, and so it's perfectly safe to eat it. Okay, you mix it 2 times, and that's ready. Finish. Stop. Nothing else.
I got some carbonara in Belgium, and they gave me that yolk in a shell.
Fuck that.
To put on and mix, and I felt so uncomfortable because I was like, well, I don't know how hot my pasta is. Like the way you described it, it gets cooked, so it's safe. But you literally gave me a yolk to put in and mix in with the assumption that the pasta's warm enough.
Yeah, I mean, it can be okay not to put the yolk when you already have the pasta in the dish, okay?
Yeah.
Not in a restaurant. If you know from where the egg is and it's that that is safe, you can eat it raw. It's not
I'm still here, so clearly I didn't get food poisoning and lose my life or anything like that. But it was odd, and I don't think we'd be allowed to do that in the United States. I don't think we could bring
no, of course not
to the table.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
But neither in Italy. It is not.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. But they wouldn't have to because they know how to cook it properly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I only eat carbonara if I'm in Rome.
Okay.
Or at home with myself cooking it.
Right.
Because carbonara is from Rome. Yeah.
Right. Well, you also have that thing where certain areas make certain dishes, and so you probably honor that as well. Yeah. We
I
just
will
like
never, for the same reason that you don't eat fish in a mountain.
right. You shouldn't anyway. Yeah. No, I really appreciate that. But I also, on the other side of it, I see how these things happen, because you love carbonara and you're in the mood and you just want it now and you're not anywhere near where you live. So it gets made all over the world, however we know how.
I promise I will make a tutorial about it.
You should.
Okay, I promise. Yeah.
And actually, if you want, I have a lifestyles channel and you can come make it on my channel with me, because that would be awesome. I would love to share that, like an authentic Italian, because I think what we a lot of the times do, out of trying to be respectful, is the inspired by. I'm not as mad as inspired by. So if somebody said this is curry, or curry inspired, I'm okay with that, because then you're acknowledging that I borrowed this from this culture. It's not mine, I borrowed it. And it's not the real thing, but the inspired has to be there for me, because if it's not, then I'm the one sitting at home going, that's not how you make that. And there's a million ways to do everything, but there's still a wrong way.
Yeah, but for us, it's pretty much the same. We actually love when other people try to make Italian recipe, but as long as they respect the original recipe, okay? If you put peas in the carbonara, you're a fucking serial killer, okay? and so, no, for me, it's not. But if you think, okay, I love the kind of sauce that there's in carbonara, and I want to make something similar, and I don't have the same ingredients that they have in Italy, because guanciale is not common in the US. Guanciale is not common outside from Italy. Okay, it is like the cheek of the pork.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and which is more fat compared to the bacon.
Right. We use when you're trying to do it properly, we use that one that's like round and you slice it, and it has like pistachios and black peppercorn in it.
Like mortadella.
Not mortadella, but it looks like mortadella. Not prosciutto, the other one that's pretty big here. Sorry, I'm blanking on it, but it's definitely not what you mentioned.
Yeah, no, it's something completely different, because guanciale is made out from the cheek of the pork, and then it will be aged with spices and salt around it. It will become like prosciutto crudo. I don't know if you know it, which is another thing from Italy. And
I know prosciutto, because we slice it. You get it sliced super, super thin. And then the one I'm talking about, I always forget the name of it, but it's like, it almost seems like a big round bit.
It's like
and they no. It's more like our bacon, but uncured. No, I shouldn't even say that, because our bacon's completely different. But I know some people use our bacon as well.
It's not a tragedy if you use bacon in carbonara, okay? But it's not the same recipe, because we know that guanciale is hard to find outside Italy. Okay.
Yeah, I wish I could remember it. And it is fairly common here for people who really, really love food, but I'll message it to you when I remember.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So we're passionate about food. I know your take on Italian food outside of Italy. Yeah. What are you cooking for dinner tonight? I think that's an important question.
I think nothing, because I had a huge lunch today.
Okay.
It was a family lunch, and we had like a lot of prosciutto and salami and stuff like that from Italy. Then I had some ravioli with cod on the inside, and then I have grilled meat after that. And I finished eating like 5 minutes before the interview, so I will be full. I will have some gelato after that, some ice cream. There you go. And that's it.
Very nice. All right. So my last question for you today is, what advice would you give to, let's say, a newer musician who wants to pursue metal?
Okay, first of all, if you're Italian, to put in the technical rider to not to have Italian food outside Italy. No, I'm joking. No, the most important thing for me is to listen everything that comes from outside of your band. If you find some people that have more experience than you, then you should listen to them and be like a sponge, you know. And that's super important because a lot of new bands think that their music is amazing and they think that they are doing right from the very beginning, but trust me, it's not. So the most important thing is listen everything. It's something that I learned a lot from Lacuna Coil when we first met the guys back in 2015, and when we toured together in 2016. We were the supporting band of Lacuna Coil, and I learned a lot from that tour. I learned the tour life thanks to them, because it is different than what you read. It is different than what you see on the videos and stuff like that. Tour life is quite tough, actually. It's not for everyone. And to me, that's essential for a beginning band, you know, to learn everything, try to listen to other people, and try to, you know, to understand why some people did that and why some other people didn't do some other things that you're doing. And plus, if you want to be a musician, it is super hard. You have to dedicate all your life to it, and you don't have to think about it I want to be a musician, but meanwhile I have a B plan for my life. If you have a B plan, it's a lot of energy that you are taking off your main project of being a musician. So if you have everything to lose when you want to become a musician, then you will put the energy you need to become a musician. It's quite hard, yeah. And it's not granted that you will be successful. It's like 1 out of a million.
Right.
You know.
That's the hard part. No guarantees, even if you do everything right.
Not at all.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being a guest, and I enjoyed talking to you, especially about food. That was really the most critical part of this conversation.
Something about food. Only, you know, when you talk about with Italian people, you should always start the interview with, "What do you think about Italian food when outside Italy?" Okay, and that will be a great interview every time.
I love it. Well, thank you again, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, sure. We hope to come there soon. Yeah.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.